channel for educators. I'm Valerie Pennington, and today I'm going to get you from paper to Canvas using only your phone. Actually, I can get you from whiteboard or window or sidewalk or anything really that you want to write on and get it into a digital format. All you're going to need is access to your My SWC account and the ability to download an app to your smartphone. And here are the steps that we're going to be going through. Don't worry, I'm going to show you everything. All right, here we go. So here we are at My SWC. Click on Campus Apps and then Service Now. Now I'm going to click on Institutional Technology and then just select Work at Home Apps. And here I'm going to be able to click on the Adobe Creative Cloud, and I'm going to have access to all the information about how to download the software that I want. There's desktop, mobile. Definitely check these out. Adobe is incredible. But
is he feeling here? We have her. No, you wasn't me.
Store, the Adobe
No.
And the first
You don't
time
have
log
me
in,
here, Lover.
ask you
She's a real like
for
ever.
your
This
login
like ever.
information
I
and make
like
sure
like
you
this.
use your
I am
Southwestern College
excited.
credentials.
I was like ever right
And then
now. The
select
world
the
war
corporate or
is
business
here
account.
for planning for the
And now
world
you'll see the
domination.
Southwestern College login screen.
That's bad.
Once you log in, now you're going to have the main page
Guys.
here, which will allow
Guys,
you
you
to
can't help
capture
it,
anything you
Lover.
want.
I know,
It
isn't it
auto
right here?
detects most
Projector.
things.
Right here.
And here you can touch or
You
have
can
it
actually
automatically
see
take
it.
the scan for
The
you.
size. The photograph
And after you take the scan,
no
you're going to
more
have options
wires.
to resize, retouch,
Everybody here,
recolor,
do
all
not
kinds
go
of
under
things.
there.
So here's the basic crop tool.
Everyone?
And now here's my edit window. The first thing you want to do is give this a name. And of course you can scan multiple pages and they will be all together in a single PDF. I always include the date. That helps me find things just in case I forget what I called them.
Sorry, are you sure?
Really cool
No,
tool.
what
Use
me
2 fingers
here?
to zoom
I
and
wasn't.
1 finger to remove anything in the document that you don't want. So here, because this was from a worksheet, I don't want this distracting borderline, so I can just remove it. Now I can save it, email it to myself, save it to the phone, or get a link that I can send to other people. What about handwritten
You
notes?
got it
Is it
way
just that
out of
easy?
over. Oh
Yeah,
no!
actually,
You
it
stupid
is.
Elliot!
So let's say I want to get this handwritten note
I don't
into
have
my
me here,
Canvas
Lover.
pages. So I go
And
through the same
trust.
steps. I capture the image. And I don't need to really remove anything here. I think it looks great. So again, I'm going to give it a distinctive name. And I always choose to include the date. And that's it. Now I've digitized my handwritten notes. And in this case, I sent it to myself. So this is what it looks like when I open it on my computer, but I want to get it into my Canvas page. So I highlight the link where I want the file to go, and I choose the file itself, which I've downloaded onto my computer. That's the PDF that we just scanned. Click Upload. And there it is. Once you click Save, now the PDF that we scanned can be accessed from this link. I can either download it if I were a student or preview it right here on the Canvas page. And as you can see, it looks perfect. If you want to see more videos like this, visit the EdTech playlist on the Penguin Prof channel or visit on the web at edu.penguinprof.com. Good luck. For educators, I'm Valerie Pennington, and today I'm going to talk about regular and effective contact. So the learning objectives for us today include an explanation of why regular and effective contact is required and necessary. We're of course going to define regular and effective contact and identify lots of different things that you can do to meet the requirements for regular and effective contact in your Canvas course. So let's get into it. Why is it required and necessary? Well, it's required by the ACCJC, that is our accrediting institution, and it's also required by Title V of California Ed Code. The relevant text is shown here. We're talking about regular effective contact between instructor and students, synchronously or asynchronously, in groups or individually. Now, in addition to that, federal financial aid requires it, and without regular effective contact, you're actually teaching a correspondence course. Southwestern College also requires it. And in addition to all these requirements, regular effective contact is good. And many studies have shown that the keys to persistence in an online course include the need for regular, meaningful communication with the instructor. So that's the effective contact that we're talking about. Okay, so in terms of defining what is meant by regular and effective contact, we're talking about instructor-initiated communication and interaction. We are not talking about student interaction with course materials. This is probably the single biggest misconception that faculty have about this topic in my experience. So when students are reading a textbook or your Canvas pages or writing a paper or studying for exams, and when students are interacting only with each other without any direction or feedback from you, none of this is effective contact. The key is
homecoming, everybody. I know, isn't it great?
You must be involved in the teaching of concepts, in providing feedback, determining progress, and encouraging active engagement. So accepted practices include both the type and the frequency of contact. So frequency, we're going to start with that. It's pretty straightforward. The frequency in a remote delivered course must be equivalent to a face-to-face course. So each week, the number of minutes that you spend depends on the number of units in the course. Now, it must be ongoing. That's the regular part of regular effective contact. So you can't just like get all the hours out in the beginning and say that that's out of the way. It doesn't work that way. It has to be on a regular weekly basis. Now, it can be synchronous, which is in real time, or asynchronous, or a mixture of both. Now, you have to be really clear about this. You communicate with your students what it is that you are going to be doing, how you're going to be communicating with them, and when. How will you do it? Are you going to have weekly videos? Are you going to have announcements? Are you going to have office hours? How often? When can they expect this? What are the best ways for students to reach you? And when can students expect a response? Now, this is really important when we're talking about remote delivery and distance ed in general, because as students are interacting with the material,
I'm ready.
It kind of feels
You're
like,
happy.
well, you know, I can
Looks
do this
like
24/7.
you're spraying.
Doesn't
You're
mean that
spraying
you
here.
are sitting at your
What's
computer
me here?
24/7.
Isn't
I
it
mean, I
great?
really hope you're not.
You have
But you need
friend.
to let them know what your response time is. So do you only respond Monday through Friday? That's fine. If they know that, then there won't be any problems. I also think it's important for you to let them know what they should do if they have written to you and you have not gotten back to them. I have my students send an email with a particular phrase in the subject line, second attempt. Because I tell them sometimes emails get lost.
It isn't me here. I get it,
If I
girl.
see that
Look at
second
her.
attempt,
I don't get
that
it.
goes to the top of my
I
list.
think here alone.
This clarity
here
will
on our
save
frozen.
you and your students so much frustration. You have to set your boundaries and you have to communicate with your students what those boundaries are. How you communicate that, it must be in your syllabus. I also recommend that you put it in your Canvas profile. Just make it really easy for your students to know what your policies and plans are. What about methods of effective contact? So synchronous contact first. So obviously things that happen in real time over Zoom, your lectures, problem solving, office hours. Canvas chat is something you can enable in your Canvas course, and that is synchronous. And the cool thing about that is that students can be chatting live, but they can also scroll back and see the history of the chat. Google Hangouts and live streams are also synchronous options. I guess the phone. Does anybody use the phone? I don't know. Now, if you record any of those interactions, they can also be used asynchronously. For asynchronous contact, we have a lot of options. So I like check-in assignments, especially at the beginning, a syllabus quiz, icebreaker. That is kind of an attendance thing as well, so you know who's there, who's interacting. Announcements. In order for them to count as effective contact, it can't be just logistic reminders like quiz 2 is due on Sunday night. it has to have content there. So what you could do is include some extra resources that they might want to look at in preparation for that quiz number 2. Email or Canvas inbox, you can send messages to individuals or groups, feedback on assessments, podcasts, discussion boards. Now, you must participate in order for discussion boards to count as regular effective contact. And I know it can be very overwhelming, but I try to set as a goal responding to 1 out of every 3 student posts. And I do keep track, so I'm not just responding to the same students over and over again. You can create and moderate small group activities. Lots of options with virtual labs, lab reports, group presentations with lab data, peer reviews. Remember, you must initiate and participate in these things. Case studies and analyses, problem solving, journal entries, virtual tours and field trips, and some other really cool things that you can build into your Canvas courses, and we have trainings on these: VoiceThread, Padlet, collaborative Google Docs in the cloud, social media, blog posts, and reflection discussions. We are actually required to document contact hours. First of all, everything on Zoom is recorded anyway, so you don't have to worry about that. And for everything else, I use Toggle. It just makes it really easy for me to keep track of the hours that I spend and what I'm doing. You can also take screenshots or take notes. All right, it's time for a quick recap. So why regular and effective contact is necessary? It's required by law, it's required by the college, and it's good for your students. When you think about the definition of regular and effective contact, you need to think about the time aspect, meaning it has to be equivalent to a face-to-face course, and it has to be regular. That means it's ongoing, not just all at once. And it has to involve you, not just students going through course material on their own. And finally, we looked at lots of ways to include a variety of effective contact options in your Canvas course. They can be synchronous or asynchronous, but you must communicate with your students what they can expect and what your boundaries are. Try to use a variety of engaging and interactive techniques. As always, I hope that was helpful.
But I
If you want
don't
more
think you're
videos like
alone.
this, visit
I
the
think
EdTech
I'm
playlist
connect.
on the Penguin Prof channel.
Wasn't me?
And visit on the web at edu.penguinprof.com. Good luck.